Okay, hello game designers, this is Mr. Sparks, and we're going to start do like a little 5 lesson mini project. The things we've been working on, this is going to be for all classes. We're going to do a little bit of a different thing, kind of teach you a few additional options here, something that you can use and package out a game. So we're going to be using a new free pack that Unreal Engine has brought out, and we're going to create like a little parkour type course. It's pretty interesting and has a lot of options to be able to enhance it in the future. So we're going to kind of go through this. This will be probably 2 or 3 weeks worth of work. So we're going to work on this. And so the first thing you want to do to get this started is to open up your Epic Games launcher, and you want to navigate over to the Marketplace tab. And once that comes up, you're going to look here in the free section. So you want to go to Epic Games Content. There's several different types of things, and you're looking for this one right here. So it's called the Unreal Engine Hour of Code. I already have it here. So what you want to do is just go ahead and click on it, add it to your cart, and then go ahead and check out. And then it will allow you to be able to access it from there. And then from your library, you'll want to go down, and you should be able to find it. And I got a ton of stuff here. You want to find it here in this Unreal Engine Hour of Code, and it gives you the option to create a project. So you want to go ahead and create a project, and you want to put it where you store all of your Unreal projects. Probably going to default to where you want it. So I'm going to call this, so I select that folder, and instead of Unreal Engine Hour of Code, I'm just going to call it HOC. I'm just going to call mine HOC tutorial. You can call yours HOC and your first initial and last name if you like. And then you want to go ahead and hit create. Shouldn't take it too long to create this project, and so we'll kind of just pause while my project is being created. So I'm going to pause the video here until this project gets created, and then we'll jump back into it. Okay, once it creates your project, you'll see something like this right here, where it just says HOC tutorial. So we'll just double click that, and we'll go ahead and let that open itself up. And then we'll kind of go through a little bit of the first lesson and get you a little familiar. It's not a lot of work, so it should be fairly simple, just setting up the basic project and doing a couple little things. So I'm going to pause it again until this thing loads up, so we won't have to just sit here and watch it load. Okay, so project's finally loaded up here, and so what we're going to do here is we're going to make sure that you kind of understand what's going on here. So we have this, I'm just going to kind of see if I can get out here, and this is kind of the level. It's kind of pre-made level here. It's got a lot of interesting things here, a lot of assets, and you kind of start right down in here. You can see your player start is right here, and have a lot of elements. So if we just press play here, we'll see. Give it a minute to get started. So I have this this interesting little character here that can kind of move around. They can jump, different things like that. So and one of the things we're going to do is the first thing you'll notice that we fall through that. So and then we can't get out here. So the first lesson is going to be learning how to set collision and add some things, and get our character out of this little hallway here and over to this area right here. So we're going to be doing that in this first lesson. But a couple things we're going to do before we get started is this kind of interesting little project to be able to use, and the level's already pre-made, so it saves a lot of time in level design and things like that. So That's good. But the first thing we want to do before we get started on anything else, one thing I always do is go to Edit up here in the top and go to Editor Preferences. And I always change this Asset Editor Open Location from the default to Main Window. And what that'll do is it'll just tab it up here every time you open a window. So that's much more convenient. So one of the things that you'll see is you'll have some of these things down here. We have an hour of code folder here. So what we want to do is we're going to go ahead and give it a color. So kind of give it a, since it's going to be our working folder, we'll go ahead and just give it a green, kind of a green color there that we can see, so it makes it stand out a lot quicker. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do before we get started is we're going to set up a couple of little things here. So let's see, adjust this window a little bit. There in our area of code, you'll notice that we have some blueprints. So there's a lot of things we'll be using here, coins, checkpoints, different things like that. We'll be getting into as we go along. In the third-person blueprint, this is our epic character. So this is the character we'll be using. And so that blueprint is already basically set up where the character can jump around. So what we want to do first is tackle this first problem as far as collision detection. And so this particular platform here, as you can see, doesn't have any collisions. So you know, you can move it around, and we're going to be creating some new ones, or just basically we're going to add some new ones. But the first thing we've got to do is we've got to be able to add some collision to this thing so that it detects and we don't just fall straight through it. Okay, so that's the first thing that we'll want to do, and the way that we need to do that is we need to find this in our content browser. So if we have it selected here, and you notice down here on the details panel, you'll see it's a static mesh here, and the easiest way to find it in our content browser is to click this little magnifying glass. And when we do that, we'll see that it jumps over to this. So what we want to do is just double click that, and that will open up our static mesh window. So you can see this is what it looks like. We can go here to collision, and I want to show you the way that I prefer to do collision. And on something like this, it makes it work much better in my opinion. So we're going to kind of look here, and if you go to collision, you'll see neither one of these are selected. If we were to click simple collision, but we're going to do complex, and if you see complex, you'll notice that you start getting all these little lines that come around here. So this kind of conforms itself to this platform, makes it a little better. But the one thing that we'll want to do is, once we do that, is we want to go over here into the details, and you want to scroll down until you find the collision section. And right here you'll see it says collision complexity, and it says project default. So block all is what we want. So we want it to block everything so that our character won't fall through it or anything. But we're going to change the project default to say use complex collision as simple. And this will make it a little easier. It's not going to create a lot of lag and things like that. So we'll do that, and then we'll just hit save. And that's really all we have to do. So we'll go ahead and close that back out. And now if we hit play, when our character runs over here, is they'll be able to stand on it. So that is a successful thing. So we want to be able to have our character stand on it. So the next thing we want to do in this project is we want to be able to add a way for our character to be able to make it from this point here over to here. Okay, So what we need to do is we'll have to just add some new ones. So we can kind of go in here and let me position myself. Okay. So in here, what I want to do is if I can move this one around a little bit, and so I give it a little bit of space there. So that my character could actually fall down there if they didn't jump. So you can kind of do this the way you want it for your project. And then if you hold the Alt key down and you grab this red arrow, I can make a duplicate copy. Okay, so now that we have the collision set on it, is now the new one will have collision as well. So we can kind of move this out. You might have to play around with this to get the exact distance apart. So if we test it now, so it's a good idea just to go ahead and test it before we continue. Now I can go here and my character jump and jump again, and they can jump back this way. And if I'm not careful, and let's see here, our character can stand there in the middle of that space, which is not good. Okay, now there they will fall down. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to adjust this just a little bit. So we can actually start this back this way just a little bit if you don't want it to be as challenging. And maybe that probably will be okay. And if not, we'll have to adjust it as we test it, because we want to be able to, we want our player to be able to get through here, but not make it really super easy. So we'll just kind of drag another one. And let's drag this out. And sometimes maybe we can just go to a wireframe. It might make it a little bit harder to deal with there. Okay. A lot of this stuff being in the way makes it a little more challenging to do this, so we do that, and we'll go ahead and hit Alt. Try it one more. My character probably can't jump that far, so may have to make one final platform. So we'll see how that works. We'll see if our character can jump that far, and then we'll move on to the next part of this lesson. So now we have our character here. Go here, they're going to start there, they can jump to this one, jump to this one, jump to this one. And sure enough, they can get out here. So that works pretty well. You can make, like I say, you can make this as challenging as you would like by spacing these out and only making 4, and make the character jump a little further. So you could actually make them jump from here and just have 4, and then make them jump to the end if you'd like. But that's up to you. So it's going to be your project to kind of adjust as you like. So that pretty much takes care of that. So we'll go ahead and hit save, and this will save everything for us right quick. It's always a good idea when you do, as you do things, to get in a good habit of saving things as much as possible. But one of the things that I'll show you, if you want to see what the collision on all these things are, if you go up here to the show, this will allow you to show all the different things that may be in your level. And you'll notice that collision is not turned on. So if we just click this box, is now what you'll see is you'll see the collision on everything in the level. So as you can see, the little purple lines, that's where the collision is for all these different things. So you can see how this one has wrapped around, and some of these others you know, are a little more primitive as it goes right here. It's not conforming to the rocks, which is fine for a level like this. So that's how you can kind of see, if you want to look at your collision and test it, you can see what you have, or if you don't have anything. So we'll go ahead and turn that off, and we'll be ready to kind of go to the next step. Okay, so once we just a second. Okay, so we need to look at one possible situation. If our character goes here and falls down, they can't get out. They can't jump that high. There's no way for them to get back out. So now they're just endlessly stuck in this hole. So one of the things we can do to address that, to reset this, is we can use what's called a pain causing volume. And what we'll do is we'll go over here to your place actors, and if we go to volumes, you'll notice that there's a pain causing volume. So we're just going to drag this out here, and we're just going to drag it down below, and you kind of see it like this. You can do it pretty much like that, and then we can pretty much, let's see, we'll just scale it out on the X, so it gets to the end, and let's scale it more and back it up slightly. So that looks pretty good. Make sure it kind of covers the whole area inside. And so now, what should happen when we, it's going to give us a damage type, and what should happen is once I go in here, and we'll go back into this, I'm going to kind of go over here, and if I fall down into this, now it's going to reset. So it's going to set me back to the beginning. Okay, and we can change that a little bit if we decide to want to do that. So we'll address that in the future if we need to. So we can do different things with it once we get to it, but that'll at least reset our character back to that. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we'll want to find out what happens if we go, let's see, we go here, jump. Okay, and so now we've got to be able to get over there, but we can't get there. So if I go over here and I fall, my character is just going to kind of fall forever. So it will just fall and fall and fall and fall, and it will never stop. Okay, so we've got to fix that particular situation. So to get back where we need to go, we can type in player start, and if we hit the F key on your keyboard, so if you select something over here, it'll take you back to where we were. Okay, so if you ever get lost and you need to get back to where you need to, you can always just kind of look for that and search for it in your word outliner, and once you select it, press the F key and it'll focus you on that point. Okay, so one of the things that we want to do to prevent that problem from happening, if we go here to the world settings, and there is a thing here where it says under world, it says, if we expand this down, I think that it is right here, enable world bounds check. So you have to kind of expand this little thing because it's usually like this. So you'll need to click that. And where it says enable world bounds check, you check that. Now you'll see that it says kill Z, so any actor falling below this level will get destroyed. So we're going to change that default because that will be a lot. So we're just going to go minus 500. We'll see how that goes, negative 500, and we'll see how that goes. So if we go back at our play now, and we run our character out here, they can jump, and then they jump off here, then they get destroyed. So that's probably a little quick. So let's change that to say maybe negative 2,500 and try that. So we'll go here, here. We'll just leap off, and there we go. Okay, so that kind of takes care of our, if our player falls off into the world, this will take care of restarting and destroying our character. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is once we get out here, okay, and let's get over to where we need to be. So we're coming out to here, and we want to get to here. Okay, so our goal is to get over to this point here. Okay, so this is our activity 1 destination. So we've got to figure out a way to get over there. So we need to, now what we need to do, we're going to have to take one of these little floating islands here, and we're going to start duplicating them and just place them in around through here to make a little parkour course to get our character in. Now this is where pretty much you can adjust this the way you want to. So just drag one over, and you'll have to kind of position it. Let's see where that one went. So let's undo that. And we'll take this one. We hold Alt, drag out and get us a new one. We'll drag it over here. So we kind of have to get it over here. It'll kind of be level with this. We'll kind of back it up. And that may be slightly too big. So let's go where this one is. This SM Floating Island S. Let's see where that one's at. Okay, let's try that one. Maybe it's a little smaller, so we'll Alt, drag this over. Drag this over a little bit. Now that's pretty large, so what we can do with this one to make this a little more interesting, let's see if we can make sure that's about level. So let's just scale this thing down just a little bit. Away. That's probably a little better. So we'll make that a little smaller so it's not as obvious. And now what we need to do is we need to duplicate this one several times. So we can kind of, holding the Alt key down, you can kind of drag this here. So I can, maybe move this one over here, move it kind of like that. I'm not sure how far apart these will need to be for our character to be able to run across them. So just going to kind of duplicate these a few times. And let's see. Might have to just slightly drag it down. Let's drag one over here. Where we're at. So what we'll have to do probably is make it a way to where we have to kind of jump up a little bit. So we can make this a little more challenging for our character if we like. Maybe move it up a little bit. Move it up this way. So this will be a little bit of level designing skill here. Drag this one out. Bring it up slightly. This one. So this will kind of be the more challenging part, is getting our character the ability to be able to get over there. So let's maybe move this one over. Maybe down a little bit. We're just touching up a little bit. This will be kind of the tedious part here. And we'll duplicate this one. Raise it up a little bit. Put it this way. Then we can do one more maybe. Slightly, and I'm just gonna shrink this one down slightly. So what you can do, you can kind of take, and if you want to rotate these around, you kind of rotate them around where they're a little different. You know, you can scale them slightly if you like. And that might be too small. But we'll try this one and see. So let's go ahead and test this out and see if we can actually get across here. So this will be the problem that you run into when you're designing this level, is how am I going to get my character, can they jump and get over to these platforms? So I've got to go to this platform first, so I can make that one. And I can make that one. And that one. And this one. Barely on that one. So the way I have it, I can actually get there. I can jump back. And if I fall, then I'm going to start over. Okay, so that's pretty much kind of the thing you want to do. We can kind of maybe space these out a little bit. Maybe take this one, back it off a little bit, this one a little bit. Just kind of make it a little different, rotate it around a little bit so it's a little different looking. Maybe take this one, rotate it this way. So they all look a little bit different. And let's see, maybe. So now it's just a matter of, let's test it again. So you just kind of have to test these things out and see. You can make this as easy or difficult as you'd like. So now we kind of come over here, we're running over here. Can we make this one? Yes. So we can do that. So that's pretty much what we're looking to do, is getting ourselves across all these different projects, or different ways. So you can play around with this a little bit. You know, you could actually, if you wanted to, you could have another way to get here. So you could run a couple of different paths. You could actually even make it go over here and make your character come this way, and different things. So you can play around with this portion of it and design this little parkour course. Change the size of these if you like. You know, add kind of pretty much what you want. So that's pretty much what you need to do. And so what I want you to do to turn in for your assignment is, when you go into this part here, okay, you kind of maybe go, I want to have you screenshot some of your levels. So pretty much if you look down this hallway here, you can kind of do it like this maybe. And you'll need to attach these to, and there'll be a couple things where you can attach them, put them in a Google Doc, it'll be fine. So you'll just want to, if you've never used the snipping tool in Windows, you can go to your search bar and just type in snip, and you'll have a snipping tool. Okay, so you click that. It's going to give you this little pop-up window, and pretty much what I want you to do is just, you can click new, and you just kind of like screenshot this hallway, so I can see that you've actually got all your platforms in there, and then you can just hit save, or if you're in a Google Doc. So let me just add one of those. Give me just a second. Okay, so I'm going to bring this over here. And basically what you'll want to do, you'll have a new document. You can just call this, like you can put your name, you just put, call it Hour of Code Lesson 1. And you can just put your name. So, like I would put, okay, just kind of like that. And when you get your first screenshot, here you can actually just copy this, and if you go over here to your Google Doc, you can just basically paste it in there. And so now I can see that. You'll probably want to just put your name up here on your document too, and just kind of go down here, and we'll minimize that for a second. And then the next one, what you want to do is just basically just kind of come out here on your parkour course, and just kind of go in this direction where you can see that, and just do yourself another quick screenshot. So new, just kind of you just screenshot this part right here. That's fine. Okay, so now that'll just let me be able to see that you have your parkour course over there from this point here. And if you have to take a couple different ones, it's fine. And then you can just hit copy, and we'll bring this up, and of course we can just hit paste, and now we have another one. So this kind of gave me an idea of what your level looks like, and as we go through, we need to do some code. We'll do some screenshots on that too, and be adding that in here. So this will be the document that you'll need to attach to your assignment to turn it in for your grade. So pretty much this is the two things you need to do, and that will pretty much do what we need to do for lesson 1. Like I say, you can play around with this. You can add if you want to add some rocks or different obstacles, in with this, you can do that. You can take this here if you want to, and just kind of drag this over, and then, of course, I'm gonna drag it over here. It's way too big there. Just kind of scale it down. And you can kind of drag these in. Let's see. No, we didn't get all that, so let's say 0.5. So we've got that. Let's just make this, you can do it easier right here, so let's make this like 0.25. That'll make that small. And if you press F, you can drag this down. You kind of like put that below a little bit. So you got a little bit extra options there. You don't have to do anything like this, but it just kind of gives you an additional option there if you like to dress up your level a little bit. So we'll run through it one more time. And we'll jump here. You say we can probably jump on this rock, maybe not. Yeah, we can't jump on it the way it is. Oh, and I missed it. So pretty much that's what I want you to do. Get your level, make sure that it is playable, and kind of to your liking. And that will conclude this lesson for today. And so get all this done, make your screenshots, turn it in on the assignment, and we'll see you in the next one, which will be adding a checkpoint option here and continuing on. All right.